What? Well, there you go.
We're starting here, starting right now. 1, 2, 3. We breathe it in. We feel our hearts, they're pounding, rising up to feel the fire dance wild through our veins. We take a chance, no, we'll never be the same. Giving it all we got, giving it all we can, giving it all we got. Climbing up to the top of the world, no fear, we're gonna make it. Everything we want is ours. Whoa.
Good morning. Craig here on the Thai farm, where I have just got back from the Sunday market. It's a big market, and actually we're the rainy season, so I typically would see it kind of maybe not so crowded or otherwise, you know, vendors that lay out all their stuff, you know, the rain comes. So sometimes certain vendors don't come anymore because they're like, no, it's gonna rain. But it was really sunny today. It was sunny a little bit late yesterday. It did rain. I think, yeah, it rained yesterday in the afternoon, not too much, but anyway, we went there today and this morning, and it was packed, man. There's a lot more vendors and people, and whew. Of course I wore my boots because there were mud puddles everywhere. Yeah, but it is pretty cool, man. There's a lot of stuff I would have liked to pick up, but I didn't get too much. My wife got all kinds of stuff, plants and baskets and whatever. And actually I'll show you over here on the way home. She stopped at there's one of the, you know, houses up here that sell all the fruit in the front. What they do is they go get these yellow and orange or whatever baskets, crates, like the old milk crates in the States, only 4-inch ones or whatever, and they get all their fruit that way. And then they have all the crates after they sell the fruit. So my wife stopped, and I thought she was getting fruit, and then she's like, hey man, put these in the truck. And there's like 30 different crates, you know. I'm like, whoa, what are we doing with these? And so the idea is that she just basically chucks them into the water, into the pond here. And you know, in theory they attract all of the snails. And snails, even though they're edible, of course, that's why she does it, but they are an invasive species for the ponds, and you know, they can become a problem. But you know, that not the big rose snails or whatever, but the smaller black ones. And I don't know if you can see it. I'll go over there. I'm going to be in the water a little bit. Over there they got the orange and yellow ones. What I had to do for her was she threw the baskets in there, and actually each of the baskets, each of the crates come with a lid crate. So I zip tied the lids together in like 6 tiles together, and then I zip tied the Coke bottles on top of it for floaties, so that it's like a floating deck, and then the snails will attach to the bottom. And if it's just sitting there, the snails they'll attach to anything. When we had the big lily pads out here for all the white and pink lilies, that was their favorite thing, was underneath that, right? Or if you put which is much more natural, I think, and they like it. The palm fronds with the big long fronds, if you chuck that in the water, they'll attach to that real good too. We put some baskets, the metal ones, in the other pond. I haven't checked those, but they stick a little bit to the bottom of the boat. but we moved the boat, so they probably don't like that. But anyway, we'll have to see how it does. They're not that hardy. I would think they're going to break or something. I also picked up they have tons of stuff at the secondhand side, and some of it's new, but I got all these pieces together because I want to get another receptacle in my shop. I gotta have one at this side. I'm always looking for the dang extension cord to come from this side to go to that side. I'm tired of that. I'm gonna run the line and then daisy chain it out, or series connected to the other side, so I don't have to worry about that. I also got a gear. For those of you who've been watching, my paddle project, Aerator, pond aerator. So I thought, a couple people had said it, and and I thought of it too, of course, but the spindle on the motor here is only, it's actually smaller than this. It's like my pinky, so it goes through there. Although that said, it's got a nut that holds it on, right? So for all intents and purposes, what I could do, I could put the nut in here and then weld the nut inside this. And then I put the nut on and phew. However, these teeth are, you can see that they're actually, definitely farther apart than that chain, and also than that sprocket. So before I change gears, I'd have to change that whole thing over there. I welded that sprocket onto the pipe, so it's not going anywhere. If I need to swap out bigger gear ratio, then I'm going to need, cut it. I'd have to cut the pipe and then re-weld the pipe. But I did test my theory of, or I suppose how to fix my paddle wheel dilemma, which if you're watching in previous video, it was clear that my little motor was not enough to rotate those paddles. It's just as soon as the paddles are basically hitting the water, they're getting too much resistance. Because the motor, even though it has high RPM, it doesn't have the torque you need, or that you would get from a higher gear ratio or whatever. It's got a little one, and then it's like almost like a bicycle, smaller. But so I figured, well, how can I reduce the drag or the resistance? Each piece, each paddle, the face of the paddle is numerically calculated into the resistance, right? If you want to do the math or the science about it. And so I thought, well, I'll just take one paddle off, and that'll split the resistance in half, and we'll check it out. So I did that. I actually yesterday I took a paddle one side off, and I kind of anchored it down a little bit so it wouldn't teeter, and then I got it out into the water and I tried it. You can probably see from that video that it was working. So basically splitting the resistance in half worked, which meant that I had a choice. Either one, redesign the whole thing so that it's a single paddle going through there, which I wasn't really in favor of that. It would have made a total redesign. Or what I do is each of the paddles, I just remove half of the paddle this way. So if I take both paddles and I cut half of their paddle off, with the grinder or whatever, then I basically am removing half the resistance, but I still have two paddles, two wheels. And from what I saw, or from what I demonstrated when I tried to see about that with the single. It seems like it's going to work, and that's what I'm going to do today. Is I already took one of the wheels off. We had power outage before, so I couldn't do it, but now I can. And so I'm going to cut the paddle off. I'm going to cut the half of the blade off of each one of those paddles. Or yeah, anyway. And then it should work. Molten plastic. Burn my hand. Well, there you go. A half track. That's that should be half the resistance, right? If all else comes into play. Now I just have to take off the other one and do it. What? Alright, man, let me do that. We'll get back at you. Okay, man, so this should be the final test on my newly designed aerator. And to show you what I did, remember? So I cut that right off. Half there, half there. I put just some line here so that it doesn't jump up out of the U-turn. And I took a 1-inch PVC, slipped it over here, and then just basically drilled, put a bolt right there, so that way it doesn't move side to side. So I got it trapped in there, and it works pretty good. And of course, because I have a variable speed switch on it, I can't really turn the switch on, get it going, and then put the plastic on, because the water be everywhere. So what I do is I put the plastic on, screwed it in, cut a hole here, and I can just reach in here and turn that on. Whoa. And actually, you know what? Yeah, it should be like that. And then once it gets going, I'll just put this lid on it like that, so that I don't get it wet. The rest of the stuff will be minor adjustments. I did cut, what I did was I cut 2 big old pieces of bamboo. I threw them over there. And I'm gonna stick the bamboo in those 2 holes, pound it down into the, into the pond bottom so it doesn't get away. And from there we'll see what else it needs to be stable. But I think it should be fine. Remember I was saying before, I got my little floaties out there, little floating or little flotillas for snails. We'll see how that does. All right, man, well, wish me luck. I'll get back at you. Yeah. I should have known. It's definitely gonna need pontoon stability. But the wheels did turn. Didn't have that drag on it like I did when I had them both before I cut them. So that's basically the final test that I know it works now. Now it's just a matter of, you know, creating the pontoons, or I should say like the outriggers. I didn't want to buy 2 more floats, but you know what, those things are only like 10 bucks each. I probably should just buy 2 more. Great. All right, man, well, hope you enjoyed that. I almost lost it, like I don't know how many times, teetering over. I almost dropped my sledgehammer too. If I would have dropped the sledgehammer in the water, oh my god. You know, I put bamboo in there. I didn't want to run lines, like, you know, rope all the way one way, all the way another way. I think if I put the, you know, 2 more pontoons on there, obviously I won't have teetering, so I could probably just use the bamboo and it will probably be fine. Anyway, thanks for watching, and keep watching for more action here on the Type Farm.